How many of you guys are familiar with this little piece of equipment? This little module is part of Makita's auto start wireless system. So if you're using a battery operated miter saw, track saw, grinder, anything that will hook up to some sort of dust collection port, and you're also using a Makita dust extractor, this guy will automatically turn the dust extractor on at the same time the tool is turned on. Makita is really good at labeling their equipment as AWS compatible or not, but if you have one of these little controllers that will pick up, you basically have it. This chip just slides in here and then gets pushed into place. From there, if you want to pair a unit, you just push and hold on this button and eventually a green light will blink. Go over to your dust extractor and push and hold until that green light blinks also. That light will come on solid green along with the one on the dust extractor. Then you just have to switch over to auto. And as soon as we depress the trigger, the vacuum will turn on at the same time. The vacuum will stay on a little bit afterwards in order to clear the dust out of the system, and then it'll also pound the filter, which is absolutely perfect. So now you're set up. If we remove the battery out of this unit, obviously nothing will happen because that little piece of Bluetooth equipment is not powered. When we put the battery back in, all we have to do is push that wireless button once, and we are back in business. And that works, no issue. So this chip can be removed. We can take it out. We can put it in any other Makita AWS system. It will automatically pair up to this vacuum. You don't have to have multiples. You can have multiples of these chips paired up to one single vacuum. Not a problem. So you don't have to buy a ton of different chips if you don't want to. That's all up to you and how convenient you want things to be. If you want to just push a button, move those things around, take the chance of losing them, completely your call. I'll give you a little more up close and personal view. This is how this comes out. Very simple. Chips out, not much to it. If we're to put it back in, you can slide it back in by hand. It's a lot easier with two hands. You can kind of get it back into place here and then push this down. It has to be in all four prongs. You can see the red light is on. We just push it once, it blinks purple, and it's connected up. So we pull the trigger, and our vacuum is going. Same thing is going to happen over here. If we decide to remove any of our batteries, we're just going to have to, this is easier with two hands as everything moves around, pull the battery out, put it back in, red light, push it once, we're back up in business. This is simple to set up and it's simple to use. So there's some pros and cons to this, obviously. If you're all in Makita, it works. You can use this across the XGT and LXT lines, so it doesn't matter what you're in. They all communicate together and they'll all work. I think that's pretty sweet. And you can take that out, move it through tools. You don't have to buy multiples. Now, if you're corded, you don't have to be in the same line. You can simply buy an advanced power strip that's going to say, hey, there's juice being pulled through the miter saw, and when the higher amps go through, it will turn on the rest of the power strip. So you could do this with multiple different pieces of equipment and not have to have this, but most people are going battery operated today. And if you're invested in that, this is a great way. There's also other systems out there where they run wires through the hose and it turns it on manually. Now, you can't argue with that because it's pretty hard to screw that up. When you're using a battery operated vacuum or dust extractor like this is, it's tough because battery longevity or runtime inside this vacuum is limited. So this chip helps you to keep everything running well. And I at least like that Makita has two of the XGT batteries in here. So this is an 80 volt vacuum, which does have a pretty decent runtime with two 5 amp hour batteries. So while I think the system is really cool, gives me the option of buying a chip to put it in the tool if I want to use a dust extractor, when I think most of the people out there might not invest in the dust extractor because they don't need it for their particular use. So there's a balance. Would you rather have it completely built in and pay for it in every tool, or would you have the choice to pop it in the tool and pay for it afterwards? I don't think anyone's going to be completely happy as to whatever decision was made, because some people want it, some people don't. No one's going to be happy. But what I'm curious from you guys is, do you think there's a better way of going about this? Maybe. Do you think there could be a way that you could hook up a phone in between and have one person's phone have two things Bluetooth to it, then they could turn it on directly through the phone? That's an interesting situation. Then when one guy goes away, talks on the phone, the system doesn't work. No matter how you look at this, it can get very complicated from an engineering standpoint, and it can also be very, very simple. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts as to how this works and what you think about how it works. It's just an interesting way for Makita to come up and get things to connect. I don't see a lot of this from other companies as far as the exact way. There are differences between batteries that connect to other ones and turn things on. But as far as this system, this is kind of a one of a kind in my opinion. Love to hear your thoughts on that. Give us a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.